Hey fam, welcome to Driven Life TV. So today I have something really special in store for you. I had a conversation with Pastor Chakongela Mtegha and we really had a good time and we talked about some really vital issues. We covered issues to do with young ministers. We covered issues to do with relationships. We covered how it was like for her to grow up with Wambali Mkandawire, and also she talks about her own journey with Christ. And so this was an interesting conversation that I don't want you to miss. So make sure you watch up to the very end and then tell me your thoughts in the comments. Let us get right to it right now.
Thank you. Since last year, I haven't done any online things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But how are you?
How have you been?
I've been good. Just busy. Yeah, so many things going on. But all is well. How about you and the family?
We are fine. The Lord is
Wonderful.
good to us.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. So I think this being I don't want to take too much of your time, but I think we'll go as far as the conversation takes us. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So I think I want to go straight to the purpose of this of this arrangement, and I want us to go into the issues that we need to discuss, and hopefully this will be beneficial to many who will get to watch it. And whatever you feel like you're comfortable sharing, please do. If you're not comfortable answering some of the questions, you let me know as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think first things first. I know you're a pastor, um, and that's something that I think you have been in for a very long time. And you've been in ministry, not just pastoring, but also music ministry as well. And I think looking at all those things, um, it's very easy for us to say that maybe things were always like that, you know. But I don't think it was always like that. In as much as I think you have shared with me that you grew up in a Christian family, you were around some really amazing people. Your parents are also God fearing. But I wanted to know, how did you come to a place where you said, in spite of the fact that I grew up in a Christian family, but I need to know Jesus for myself? How did that happen?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got saved when I was very
Okay.
um yeah. When I was 5,
Mm.
there was just a certain pattern in there. Sometimes clouds just do a certain pattern that is strange.
Uh-huh.
And as a 5-year-old, you look at that pattern and you're like, what's that? It's strange.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
actually went to my mom and I
Yes.
said, look at the clouds, look what's happening. And she said, Jesus is coming. Are you ready?
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Hmm.
So I ran to my room and I prayed. I said, don't leave me, please don't leave me. And
Yes.
now, because my parents were already having fellowships at our house, I had already heard the word.
Yes, yes.
And so it wasn't something strange. When she said, are
Hmm.
you ready? I knew what she meant.
Okay.
And so I ran to my room. I said, I don't want to be left behind. That language was
Mm.
already there. We knew that would be left behind.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I said, Jesus, come into my heart. Please don't leave me.
Hmm.
And so that was the journey. That's how it started.
Wow.
But then as I grew older,
Hmm.
I found that I would still sin sometimes.
Yes,
So I
yes.
started thinking, maybe I wasn't saved that day.
Ah.
Because I always serve as someone who is saved. But
Hmm.
that day I said, maybe I wasn't saved.
Hmm.
And so when I went to secondary school, I said, I think this for me is make or break. I
Yeah.
will know whether I'm saved or not,
Yes, yes.
because I'm going to be away from home.
Yeah.
Uh, so in secondary school, I was able to make that choice and say, yeah, I'm saved. But
Hmm.
because I would fall, I would say, maybe I was angry because I'm not really saved. Maybe because I didn't walk the aisle.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
always tell people who are getting saved walking the aisle.
Yes.
So that holiday, I remember it was it was midterm holiday for second term in Form 1.
Yes.
I came home and I had already made a decision at school. I said, when I get home,
Yes.
anybody who preaches and calls for an altar call, I'm going to go and get saved again. Because for
Just to
me,
make sure.
I said, just to make sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
need to. So I did that when I was in Form 1. Now second term in Form 1 when I had come for midterm holiday. So it was actually late Apostle C.J. Tsuguza. He had actually taught. It wasn't even a preaching. It was a teaching on fasting. But at the end, he said, if in case you are here and you want to receive Jesus Christ, I was the first one to rise up because I said, I need to walk the aisle.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened. I must have been around 13 at that time.
13.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. From what you're sharing, I can actually see just the power of growing up in a place where the word of God is taught, is shared. And sometimes you may not really have a personal walk with God, but as the word is being shared and you're around it, it becomes a seed that one day can begin to speak in your life. So I think, I don't know, like, can you talk about the power of growing up in a place, an environment where this was commonplace, where you could hear the word, where you could sort of think about it, even though it was not intentional sometimes, but because it's what you heard constantly, it just became a seed.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I look at what God said in Deuteronomy chapter 6.
Yes.
Okay. He says, you must commit yourself wholeheartedly to these commands that I'm giving you. And he says, repeat them again and again.
And again, yes.
And he says, repeat them to your children. Okay. So if God says it, he knew there was power. He knew repeating those things again, the commands again and again.
Yes.
As your children hear them, they begin to build something in them. Because now what you are doing, you lay a foundation, you lay a foundation that wherever they go, those words, they keep being in their hearts. So I grew up, because of kept hearing the word. I grew up in a place where you wouldn't swear because you just knew it's wrong.
It's wrong, yes.
Okay. Yes. There were some things you couldn't do because maybe you couldn't differentiate between God's punishment and your parents' punishment.
Yeah. Yes.
But we knew that God will punish, and we knew Jesus is coming back. And that time, people were really talking about Jesus coming back. So we knew Jesus is coming back. So we were conscious about being left behind. I don't want to be left behind. We were conscious about hell. We were conscious about receiving Jesus Christ. So it's important. It's very powerful because wherever your children go, that seed, you always take them where it doesn't matter where they go. It doesn't matter what they do. It will serve them even from doing some of the things.
Yes.
Even my own siblings, who even some who got saved very later in life, but they still say that those words that we grew up with made a difference even in our choices.
Yes.
So when God says, tell this to your children, keep on telling them.
Yes.
God knew that if you keep on telling them, that seed will somehow, at some point, germinate and produce.
Amen.
It will just need one, and it will produce that fruit that is needed.
Wow. That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. I think one of the people that I think you have shared with me, I think in our conversations, is Wambali Mkandawire. Mkandawire. And you always say, I don't know why people call him Mteweti. Is it like a title he got as he was continuing to serve God, or I think as you explained that, the title Mteweti as well, and also talk about just the influence he had on your life. Yes. If you're enjoying the content and you're enjoying the conversation, please make sure you hit the like, you hit the subscribe button, and you comment below. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Of course, he had a very big influence in my life. Of course, Mteweti is, you call him a servant or a pastor. So You can use that.
Yes,
as a minister, not pastor, but minister. So Mtegha is minister. Yeah. So yeah, he later on took that title, but he had a very big influence in my life because not only was he my brother, that our mothers were sisters.
Wow.
Even though we shared money,
yeah,
but our mothers were the ones that were sisters. And at some point in life, we were living in the same house when he was younger. And so having him around when we were younger, I don't remember much about his life before he got saved because I was very young. But when he got saved, that's what I remember.
Wow.
There was a big, significant change in his life. And he was actually instrumental in helping, like instrumental in my parents' salvation.
Wow.
Let me start from there.
How?
Yeah. Before he got saved, they like quarreled with my dad because my dad said, you can't in my house. If you want to do music, you have to convince me that you can also do school.
Wow.
It has to be, so my father was so much about education. And so he said, you can't do music because music is your education. And so he chose music. And so they had a fallout with my dad. And my dad said, oh, if you have chosen your music, you have to leave my house. So he left the house. But then after some time, he got saved. And then he came back to apologize and said, Dad, I was sorry, I did this. I've come back. So my dad said, okay, if this is something genuine, we'll see it. And so when he came back, he started preaching to my mom. He said, Mom, this is life now. And my mom got saved.
Wow.
And my dad also went somewhere. There was a meeting, I think every home crusade. He met those people and he also got saved. But the seed was planted by him. So now both my parents and he's also saved. So now they are together.
In
all
the
these
home.
people that I was saying, we have these fellowships coming at home because he was the one bringing people home.
Wow.
So yeah, so that part was a big influence. And then as I grew older, he now became like a pastor to us.
Wow.
To us as my husband and I.
Yes.
But he also was much of a friend, but he was also a mentor. Now, because he was a theologian, I was a theologian, we connected in so many ways.
Wow.
And hours and hours. And we had like the same worldview and some of the things we believed the same. So we really had something to talk about all the time. So because he was very wise, you would not get tired of listening to him talk. Of course, he would talk for a long time, but you would get tired because all the time that he was talking, there was wisdom and upon wisdom, word upon word. It's just unfortunate that people don't know that he was such a wise person, or maybe that he was a prophet like he was, but he really was a prophet that would see things. I'm not talking of prophets seeing what is going to happen tomorrow. I'm talking about being able to read the signs and the times and the things that are happening. Read and say, okay, right now in our country, this is what is happening. And he would connect it and say, this is because of this. We are at this place in our country because of this that was planted here. So those kind of things, he was very wise, and he was, that was something that, so he really did have an impact in my life. Yeah.
Well, like right now, as you are sharing this, not many people know this side of Wambali Mkandawire. Not many people know. I think for us, it was just music. You would hear him as one of the most talented guitarists that was there in Malawi. I think even myself growing up as a young person, I would just watch on Music Splash, that song, and I think that's the title. I don't know, but yeah, it was that famous song, and you would see him, and you'd be like, okay, this person is a gospel musician, and most people maybe would look at him as a typical gospel musician in Malawi who just sings because it's a talent, but not really have a life that is consistent with what they sing. But as you're sharing this, it seems that he was not just a musician, but also a man of God who was serious with his work and was also a minister. That is really powerful for us to know. And I think connecting to the same, as you were saying, you're a theologian. I know this, and you're very much serious about the word of God, its interpretation. You're very serious about young people and also knowing how to navigate themselves in ministry. If from your experience working with young people at college level and also after college, I want you to share with us and even the audience as well, what do you think is lacking in young ministers today that maybe as you were coming up as ministers with you and Pastor Mo as well, things that you picked up that young people nowadays are missing, especially young ministers? What do you think they're lacking?
I think like each generation, you think you are more clever than the previous generation.
Yes. That is so true.
I think that is something that happens with this generation. It looks like, oh, we are more clever, we know better. But then as you grow older, you discover, I think these people were right. They knew better. That's some of the things that I have noticed. You have a lot of young men who think they know better. And because I have been there, I look at them and say, my friend, you don't know.
I understand, yes.
We knew better. We thought we were more spiritual than the older generation, and so we sometimes would question their decisions, would question how in the way they're preaching or what they're doing. And later on, as you go, you discover, I think they know more than I do. So, so that's so unfortunately that puts you at a place where you are not humble enough to learn. Because you think you already know, you are not humble enough to learn. One of the things that I learned from Wambali, he said, people, even in the villages, the elders will not call you and say, come, sit down, I want to teach you this. They do that. They said they'll only do that. They'll only tell or they only speak to those people that seem to be interested in what they're saying. So he says, whatever they're saying, if you sit down and listen, they'll tell you more. If you sit down and think, what do they know? I know more than they do. They say they shut their mouths, you will not know. And when I learned that, I used it to when I meet somebody older, I'll just sit down and say, let them talk. And sometimes the temptation is they're speaking nonsense. Let me
interject.
But when I learned that, just sit down and listen. You will find that with time you will discover they start now telling you deeper things because they always start with surface things. If they discover that you are interested in the surface things, then they get deeper. If they see that you are not interested, they shut their mouth. A lot of young people fail in that place where when they meet somebody older, they want to show what they know. Instead of sitting down and saying, let me listen to what they're saying. So that's something that I've noticed with the young people. Secondly, I've also noticed that there's we didn't have a lot of branding, putting it in quotes. We didn't have that. For us, when we looked at ministry, it was just, let's get people saved, let's do this. That's all. It wasn't about branding. But now we are dealing with branding. This one wants to have their name. Now that is a trap. Because you can't have the name of Jesus and your name competing. One name has to fall off. So now if you want to brand your name, Jesus has to fall off. Because if you put Jesus there, Jesus has some things that will not allow you to brand your name.
Yes.
Because it is when you lift him up, when the Son of Man is lifted up, that all men now are drawn to him.
They'll be drawn.
So if you're branding, what is happening? You are drawing people to yourself, not to Christ. That's something that I've seen, that it's a trap the enemy has brought. And a lot of people are the world is talking about branding and all that. It's the world, but that's not how the kingdom works. The kingdom is not about individuals. It's about the kingdom, not individuals. That's why Paul, at the beginning, Paul starts by saying, the list of the apostles.
Yes.
But at the end of his life, he says, I'm the worst sinner. Because he was becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, so that Christ will become bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
It's not about branding or what, but it's about the word.
Yes.
Another thing, there's a lot of compromise that I've seen. A lot of compromise. There are some things that you wouldn't even think, you wouldn't even imagine in the church. But you find that right now they are there. And you're saying, how do you even imagine this in the church? It's something that was imaginable. But now there's lack of seriousness with the walk with God, lack of seriousness in the area of holiness. And yet God has not changed. God required that the children of Israel be holy. He required that the early church be holy. He requires that we be holy. Now, if you look at the things that are drawing us right, left, center, to take us away from holiness, those things were there before. Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. So I can't say that this generation is the one that is meeting a lot of things that they can't handle. No.
No.
The same standard of holiness for the children of Israel, the same standard of holiness for the early church is the same standard of holiness that God requires of us.
Yes.
And so when you lack the seriousness in the side of holiness, then the church will not have the effect that it should have. It's not going to be, I would say that it's not going to be, the church cannot be destroyed.
Yeah.
Because Jesus says the gates of hell will not prevail against his church. And Jesus says, and Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15, we thanks be to God, he gives us victory. So we'll have victory.
Yes.
But the effectiveness that we have lost in that we can't stand and say, be ye holy, and yet we are not doing the same. We must speak and do the word. Yeah. That's why Paul was able to stand and say, imitate me as I imitate Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know how many pastors would stand up and say, imitate me as I imitate Christ.
And I think as you're sharing those three things, I think not having an attitude of a learner, not humbling yourself enough to sit and at the feet of those people who have a track record in ministry and really just learn from them, and maybe learning to shut your mouth sometimes and just listen to what they have to say. And also, I think you shared about branding. I think we're seeing an influx of worldly ideas trying to shape how people apply things of God. And you have seen that people are even putting in place priorities that are not kingdom priorities, just because they have seen the world having success in different things. And then they're like, if we also want to have success, let's make sure we employ some of these things. So the other thing you've said is about compromise. And I think we can agree on that one as well, because there's just so much. When you look at the churches out there, there is so much that is going wrong, and young people are doing so many things. Young ministers are doing so many things, and the seriousness is really lacking. I know there are still some maybe who are actually doing their best, but I think without the guidance as well, it doesn't really help. So that is really true. And I love that. And I hope that every young minister who is actually watching this will also benefit from hearing this. We can stay here for a long time talking about this, but I want us to switch and sort of talk about relationships, and probably touch on dating, and also looking to get married and things like that. I think one of the things that I'm noticing is that most young people are actually delaying the thought of getting married. I know we see that there are so many weddings happening almost every weekend in Malawi right now, but it's not as much as it should, because most young people are putting it off for later. Sometimes we see this in colleges where you see young people having relationships not because they want to get married to that particular person, but because they just want to go through college with the help of this person. Once you finish college, those relationships never work out. And then you see after college, people want to go and do masters, some want to go do PhD. It's like now marriage is as if it's not a priority anymore. Me being a person who is passionate about relationships, it sort of hurts a bit, because because I'm like, this is a very important institution, but I'm seeing that trend. Now, for me, before we talk about that, is these people who are remaining single. I know singleness is not a bad thing, but for some people, it looks like it is a bad thing. For others, they say it's the best thing and they want to make it permanent, to say, I just want to be single. But let's talk about, I think you should share with us to say, is singleness a bad thing? If not, what is the right perspective to have on singleness? And as you'll be sharing that, I think you should also touch on the fact that there are so many young ladies now who, after doing so many things that maybe they wanted to do, now want to be in a relationship, but they're finding it hard to find a partner. And sometimes you can't give people a formula. It never works sometimes, because it's relationships. Sometimes it has to do with a person's personality. So many factors that are going on there. They're just isolated, whatever it is. But how can ladies who are in that situation increase their chances and find a partner, a good partner, not a desperation pick, but a good partner? Yep. Yeah, so singleness, and then how can they increase their chances?
Okay. Let me start from where you started from, where you said putting off getting married to get education first, or to get enough money first.
Yes.
I look at that and say that's the thinking of the world.
Oh, okay.
That's the thinking of the world.
Wow. Explain.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. Number one, God designed us that we should have these feelings that we have. We have the things that our body has got feelings, and it requires all this knowledge has a part it plays in that. Okay. Now, you will find that when people are putting off marriages, they are not abstaining.
Yeah.
People in the world that are putting off marriages until they get a PhD, they are not abstaining.
Yeah, they are
living like married people. It's just that they don't have the certificate. They are getting all the marriage benefits, but without the commitment. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
People are sleeping together, they have relationships, are sleeping together. But as Christians, you can't do that.
No.
Because this body has got pressures, and those pressures, you can't continue pulling them. It's not right. And at the end of the day, you can't keep pulling them, you fall into sin. Yeah. And Paul says, you would rather just get married than let your bodies burn.
Yes.
Okay. Now, even God, if you look at the way our biology, when we go through puberty at 12,
yes,
13, 14, puberty already says your body is ready to have children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because we are going to school now, we have laws and says okay until we are 18, because we don't want children to get married for the sake of people, their bodies can't handle pregnancies. Okay, let's wait until they're 18. All right, they're 18, but they have just had those feelings for a few years. But we are putting it to 30, 35. Already going against our own biology, not even what God is saying, our own biology.
Yes.
All right. Now, if God wanted us to marry at 35, we have had puberty at 25, baby. Not at 12.
Okay. Wow. Right?
Secondly, because these people are already having marital benefits, that's why they don't see the need to marry early.
Yes.
But if you're a Christian, you cannot be pulling it. The other reason is, if you marry late, you have repercussions later on in life.
Okay.
If you marry late, by the time you retire, your children will be young. And so you use your retirement for school fees. Your retirement money for school fees. What kind of thinking is that? So you find by the time you're feeling, okay, if you marry at 35,
yes,
you're having your child. Let's just say you're having your first child at 35. You have 25 years to work before you are 60.
Yes.
So at that 25, you have to now make sure that your children are done.
Yeah.
But that maybe it's only the firstborn maybe who will be done by 25. Or maybe first and secondborn. But otherwise, the others will still be in college, will still be in secondary school. That's another problem. So you want to get married early and have your children early, so that by the time you retire, you don't have any child in secondary school, you don't have any child in college. You are ready to sit down and relax, not be paying, using your money to pay school fees, using your money to support yourself, because you don't know how you're going to live. Maybe you live up to 90. You need to have enough money to live.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then biologically, for a woman, the later you have children, the more risky it is.
Yes.
It's far much better to have children when you're still younger. Your body can handle that. That's another problem. Another problem is when you have children later in life, the risk of you spoiling them is very big, because you don't have enough strength to fight with children.
Yes.
God made it that we should have children when we are still young. Then we have the energy to be able to fight with them and do all run around. Do that at 40. You can't be running around chasing your 5-year-old.
Yes.
You're tired. You don't care anymore. So this thing for me, that's why I say it's unbiblical.
Yeah.
It's not the way. It goes against how God planned it.
Yes.
So for me, it's education. You can still get education whilst married. If you want money, you still get money whilst married. So it's not like money or education stops you from getting married.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Now, if you now go to girls, by the time you say, okay, now I'm done with my PhD, now I can go and look for a man. At that time, men, even if you're saying, okay, you are doing this with your classmates, those men, your classmates who are your age mates, will go for younger girls.
That is true. They'll go
for younger girls. And it's not even just because they are looking for somebody more beautiful, because people think that men go for younger girls because the younger girls are beautiful. No, they have instinct just like any animal. The younger the girl, the more even their brains will say, okay, this one is more fertile than the one who is older. So they will go to younger girls because they have got more chances of having more children than somebody older.
True.
So people, I always say, even the people of the world are more wiser than the children of God. The children of the world are more wiser. We have the word of God. That word of God will help us make good decisions.
Yes.
So even the children of the world are able to make those good decisions. Why should we not make good decisions about ourselves? People who are not saved are able to make good decisions and choose good men. Good men. And they get married to those good men, and they have good marriages. Unsaved people, both husband and wife, unsaved. And then they're able to choose wisely, find a good mate, and marry and settle down and have children. But then you have Christians who fail to choose good men. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
As Christians, we also must mature even in our decision making.
Yes.
It's not just being stupid. and saying I'm being guided by God. No, we must mature in our decision making.
Yes.
Because even children of the world are able to mature in their decision making and make good choices for themselves.
Yes.
The only thing that God told us is you should marry another believer. That's all he said. He doesn't make decisions for us and say it has to be this believer.
No.
That decision is left to us.
Yes.
We have to make mature decisions and choose wisely. In the sheepfold of God, choose wisely, that when you choose even from there, you choose somebody that you are saying, I'm going to make, we're going to work in this relationship and make it work.
Yes, yes.
But it takes maturity. So we must mature. As Christians, as women, we must mature so that we make the right choices.
Yes, yes. Wow.
So for example, you have to make sure that you mature in your choices. Your priorities are right. You have set the right standards. Because sometimes as women, we set unrealistic standards.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking for a guy, Christian, who has to be like this, like this, like this. No grace at all. We're expecting to get an angel.
Yeah.
We're expecting to get an angel. Angels don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You will find people with faults. So there must be some grace there that we have to give to the person that you're looking for. So it has to be realistic standards. Some of the things, the standards that you're looking for. Both of you are students and you expect somebody who has money. Where is the student going to get the money?
I don't know.
We are looking for somebody who is polished. No. Look at potential.
Yes.
When you look at that potential and then you together you work on that potential until the right person comes out of him, because you saw potential and said we are going to work with this potential until the right person comes out.
Yes.
So there must be realistic standards, because I have seen girls that have left that have said I can't go out with this person, but the standard they are putting is realistic. Sometimes we think like the world, where we think, oh, he has to be tall, dark, handsome. This body cannot be a determinant of a good relationship.
Yes, 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 yes.
Next place, this body, it's getting old.
Yes.
It will not look as beautiful all the time. Look at those old people. Go and get their photos when they were young. You look at them, you're like, oh, my mom was beautiful. Now she doesn't look that beautiful. But
yes.
My mom was beautiful. My grandmother was beautiful. Yeah, beautiful in their time, but they're not beautiful now. So we can't go by what we look with our eyes. Moreover, if we love the outside thing, the problem with that is that we will find ourselves ignoring the most important things because we have already loved the outside. But when we love the inside, then the outside is automatic. I was giving an example to a certain girl. I said, you know, if I take my husband and line him up with other people, and I say, can you choose the most handsome man in this place? I said, you're not going to choose my husband. He's not going to come out as one of the most handsome people.
Yes. Yeah.
I said, because he doesn't look the same way as he used when he was young. But even when he was young, there was many others who are good looking more than him. So she said, no. I said, because you love him already. That's why you are drawn to him. You are saying, oh, I would pick him. So I said, it's because you love the inside already.
Yes, yes.
So if you, first, we must love the inside. When we love the inside, then with time, just like when you meet a friend, you find that the first day you know they have a big nose.
Yes.
But with time, you forget that they have a big nose.
Yes, you will.
Then it just becomes something that you are used to. It doesn't even bother you anymore. That's what happens. You meet someone, you love the inside, the outside, automatically, with time, you start loving the outside.
Let's spin it.